A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. Animals, whom we have made our slaves, we do not like to consider our equal. My mind seems to have become a kind of machine for grinding general laws out of large collections of facts. I have tried lately to read Shakespeare, and found it so intolerably dull that it nauseated me. On the ordinary view of each species having been independently created, we gain no scientific explanation. A scientific man ought to have no wishes, no affections, a mere heart of stone. The mystery of the beginning of all things is insoluble by us, and I for one must be content to remain an agnostic. Intelligence is based on how efficient a species became at doing the things they need to survive. Blushing is the most peculiar and most human of all expressions. The highest possible stage in moral culture is when we recognize that we ought to control our thoughts. This preservation of favorable variations and the rejection of injurious variations I call natural selection, or the survival of the fittest. One general law leading to the advancement of all organic beings, namely, multiply, vary, let the strongest live and weakest die. If the misery of our poor be caused not by the laws of nature, but by our institutions, great is our sin. The survival of preservation of certain favoured words in the struggle for existence is natural selection. I have called this principle, by which each slight variation, if useful, is preserved, by the team of natural selection. I cannot persuade myself that a beneficent and omnipotent God would have designedly created parasitic wasps, with the express intention of their feeding within the living bodies of caterpillars. It is those who know little, and not those who know much, who so positively assert that this or that problem will never be solved by science. Man tends to increase at a greater rate than his means of subsistence. To kill an error is as good a service as, and sometimes even better than, the establishing of a new truth or fact. A moral being is one who is capable of reflecting on his past actions and their motives, of approving of some and disapproving of others. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. There is grandeur in this view of life, with its several powers having been originally breathed by the Creator into a few forms or into one.